Welcome to the third interview in the Europe Direct Blanchardstown series celebrating women entrepreneurs. In this third interview, I spoke to Angelika Heron. Angelika is the owner of Relaxing Therapies with Angelika. In this interview, she describes her experiences as a Polish citizen setting up business in Ireland, as well as how she came to be interested in the relaxation and massage therapies area. Angelika Heron, you're very welcome, and thank you for speaking to Europe Direct Blanchardstown today.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure, and thank you for the invite, and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's get straight into it. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself? You were born in Poland, is that right?
Yes, I'm Polish at heart, and but I am actually in Ireland. I was counting today with my husband, nearly 18 years.
Wow.
So yes, I came in 2004 when the borders had been open. And so I came as a very young person. I believe I was 21. So I did 3 years at the university, tough years, and I just need a little break and polish my English skills as well. So the student agency recommended Ireland as the place to go. So here we go.
Okay, and you mentioned 2004 that's just shortly after Poland joined the European Union. Is that right?
I try to remember actually the story, how it all started. I know after the third year, I had my plan in my head that I'll take 1 year break where and I'll go abroad where I can learn more English.
Okay.
But also earn a little bit of money to buy laptop, to buy laptop, to write thesis.
Yes.
Okay. So that was important. So I had to come back and complete 2 more years at the university. However, at that time, the employment situation wasn't great for young people, especially in the area where I come from. It's Olsztyn, so it's actually the less industrial part of Poland. So we have beautiful lakes and forests, but not much industry. So definitely for young people was very tough to get a job, and definitely well-paid job. So I kind of thought I'll be a little bit ahead of the game if I have at least good English, and that will give me a little bit prospect getting a little bit better job. Mm-hmm.
And could you give me a little bit about more the details of your circumstances that led you to Ireland? You said you were recommended Ireland. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
I was considering different options. The student agency, they said, I don't know, somehow they recommended Ireland. They said it's better go to Ireland than to UK. Not sure why, but that was said to me. And I was really happy with that, because of the culture, and I was just very curious and to meet Irish people, and I was like dive into kind of different environment, because I wasn't really traveling much. I'm really from countryside.
Okay.
So like you rather you're staying in a place. The Poland is big. I was traveling a bit, and visiting Poland, but not really much abroad. So it was all a big adventure for me. The first flight I took, that was to Ireland, and it was just, 2004 was a huge learning curve for me.
And can I ask you, what did you think Ireland would be like? What was your preconception of Ireland before you came here?
Green. In Poland, we call it Emerald Ireland.
Yes.
And it's all about kind of green fields, and it's just beautiful scenery and cliffs. And I didn't know how much to expect from regarding people and behaviors. Now I know we are very similar, but before that, to be honest, I wasn't really thinking much. I think I was more concerned about my English skills, because obviously I wanted to communicate well, but I was just learning, and I'm a fast learner. But the first months was a bit struggle. So, and there was a little bit kind of, apart from little cultural differences, was also like sometimes I was getting different meaning of the word. So we kind of were, a little bit different concept, especially talking about emotion and so on. That was a little bit confusing. So,
but I think the Irish and the Polish have a lot in common, in fairness. I think we have a similar sense of humor. And we, in our history, there's a lot of commonalities in our history as well. We've both had bigger neighbours that we've had issues with. So I think we get along very well. And speaking of that, you then met your husband in Ireland, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And that was another interesting story, because that month I decided to move to Luxembourg. That was really totally unexpected. And I think sometimes when we really let go of something is coming us. We're making that space. So like I was deciding to go to Luxembourg because I was working in finances, and I just kind of thought that would give me a little bit more oomph to my career and my CV. And and also I was into learning languages back then, and so I thought, there's no better country than Luxembourg. I'll dive into 5 languages at once.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but my husband was a stopper. But
okay.
no, yeah.
And there seems to be quite a lot of Irish-Polish couples now these days. I know of quite a few of them myself in my son's school, so it seems to be quite a common thing to see now these days.
And from my observation, very happy couples actually.
Yeah, like I said,
you're making really nice families. Yes,
absolutely. I think the Irish and the Poles, as I said, have a lot in common. And just in general, what has your experience been in Ireland as a Polish person? How have you been received here? What have your experiences been like?
I think it's about attitude. Apart from little glitches, and that was kind of like the first years, and because people are people, and we have different opinions, but with full honesty, I was so well welcomed, and that's why I stayed. I always felt like at home, and even being a couple of years here, sometimes I was flying back from Poland, and when I was landing, we were at Dublin, you're like, I'm home. That feeling, I'm at home. But that's, what home makes, I think people makes home, and of course, I find this place and the land itself, it's just amazing. It's such a great history. And I thought it's actually brought the best out of me.
Okay.
And I found the talents that I'm not sure if I would discover being in Poland. Poland is very conservative. So here I really felt I could spread my wings.
Okay.
Yes. So I think Polish people, yes, comparing Irish people a little bit kind of more forgiving, when you kind of try things. In Poland, it's a little bit more judgmental.
Okay.
So I found Irish people just amazing, with really open heart, and only good experiences. With honestly only good experiences. And my clients now, most of them, I would say over 90%, that's Irish people. And I always say I couldn't ask for better clients. They're just amazing, amazing people, and it's a pleasure to kind of work with them. And now at the stage, my regular clients, it feels like they're my friends, but that's kind of that openness going on. So I think becoming with open heart and kindness attract kindness. I was always kind of curious. I was nice to people, and it was always coming back, and I never kind of thought that someone will, I don't know, be against me or harm in any way. And I just had really fantastic experiences so far.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that, actually. And I mean, obviously, am I right in saying EU membership then in that case has been very positive for a lot of Polish people? It's given them a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely. I remember I was kind of planning my trip. I tried to kind of figure out the times. I think when I was deciding kind of take the 1 year from the university, I think we were kind of just in a stage of getting that permission to kind of join EU. But really, when eventually I got my first job here and eventually I flew here, we were full member of European Union, and that's definitely helped. That just kind of made things so easy, so smooth, until and now it's just with everything and setting up business, and even I was applying last year for the citizenship, which I'm kind of, I didn't receive it yet, but I believe I'll receive it in the next couple of months. And it's just make everything so smooth. It's yes.
And I'm going to go into that in a little more detail in a few minutes. So we'll move on to your business itself, which is Relaxing Therapies with Angelika. Could you tell me a little bit about that business and what you do?
Yes. So yes, on the Facebook, Relaxing Therapies with Angelika, because I try to make it more personal. But with every business is evolving. So in September last year, I actually opened my own place. So now we transformed to Relaxing Therapies massage clinic.
Okay.
Because we have that, or I provide that kind of standard. And so I also want to work with the best in the trade. So that's what I want to attract like proudly I can say, since I opened my door in September, I'm fully booked and overbooked every day. So again, that's kind of, it's the people, what makes business? People makes business. I would be kind of, I provide great service, but people comes to me, we all make that business together. So before that, I was a massage therapist for around 5 years. And before that, in finances for 10 years. So I totally changed career, and with the business, it's definitely learning to be a sole trader and deal with different difficult situations sometimes. And now with the pandemic, the last couple of years, when I couldn't work for 6 months and more, so you always kind of try to find solutions, being creative. But that's kind of this natural evolution of things as well. And well, I guess it's also up to the person what they want from the business and where see the vision for the business as well. So my business was always serve to people. That was always my motto. How can I serve and how can I improve my skills and my service, like in the way that it'll be appreciated even more. So definitely researching what are the needs at the moment of my clients.
Okay. And I always find it fascinating when I hear about people who take a total change in career to do something they're passionate about. And how did you get interested in the whole relaxation therapy, massage area? Where did that interest? Was that something you've always been interested in?
No, that's why I was saying, if I'd been in Poland, probably I would be still in finances, doing administration or accountancy. And here I said, it's just like, it's a natural evolution. And we are like universes, walking universes, and it's a natural thing to expand and try things as well. It's life should be fun. Well, life should be easy, but we have the stigma life is tough. Yeah, there's some moments, but that's why where the creativity should kick in and look for the solutions and also look for help. That's what kind of learned the last couple of years, that we can't do everything by ourselves, especially as a sole trader. We have the stigma that we need to know everything. So I started a veil of mentorship, and that kind of just pushed things forward. So how it started, it's simply because in finance, I wasn't really fulfilled. I was very good at my job, and I was, getting more awards and praise. And from that perspective, all go well. The promotion was on the horizon, but I just didn't feel that I'm changing the world in a better way, that make it a little bit better place for the community or the society. Okay. So that was the lacking. So how I started is just kind of started volunteering, and I joined, like, for example, Blue Cross, so that's the volunteer organization to work with animals. So I started that. Kind of wasn't enough, and in the meantime I was meeting interesting people. So I guess the universe and synchronicity was bringing those people to my world, and they were talking about those holistic therapies, and I was just very curious, because it's working, and just was giving different perspective as well. I was raised in a Catholic country, so it's always very kind of being in a box, and here just not being in that kind of environment who's watching you, and you kind of feel you can actually do whatever you want. I was just trying things, and it's just natural curiosity of who am I, how, what the life is about, literally like that, like from Monty Python song. Yeah. So it's just kind of curiosity of things, and what life really means. And I said to myself that, like, life is really too short to be shy. It's really the time kind of to try things, and doesn't matter the age. Like in Poland, we have a little bit that stigma. Is there a certain age, there is not a chance you can change a job, or if you choose a career, that's it. And I think that's totally not true. Like, we have so many talents. There's so much in us, and every year, but I think you kind of discovering things about yourself that even, like, didn't know you're there, because of their, like, life, puts you kind of difficult situation, and it's actually, from pain we really evolve, and we gain that strength, so that's from strength to strength, sometimes from business pain to business pain. It's an evolution where I kind of feel like, if I went through this, I can go through anything.
And it seems to me, just listening to you, like that becoming an entrepreneur has been very personally fulfilling for you.
Absolutely. I'll be honest with you, like, mainly I'm doing massage services, and but I'm kind of mixing it because I have very holistic approach. So very often during the massage, I do energy healing. I'm very, very intuitive. And so so far I'm getting only 5 stars. Since
Okay.
I have no other review than 5 stars.
Well, I mean, this series is celebrating women entrepreneurs, and you're obviously a superb example of like a great success story. And can I just move on to ask you a little bit about what the process was like of setting up a business as an EU citizen from another EU state in Ireland? I mean, did you have all the same rights as an Irish citizen to do that? And
from my perspective, so far, I didn't meet any obstacles, legal obstacles that, you know, I had to. It was very easy, very straightforward. In Poland, again, tax system, we're kind of a bit afraid. Here it's like you give a ring, you ask questions, you get answers. Leo kind of supports in a fantastic way, entrepreneurs as well. So I kind of find that there is loads of support out there for anyone who asks. So from my perspective, that was pretty easy, I must say. The challenge was to kind of be committed to the business, and you know, you're doing the work and it's hard work. But from legal perspective, I feel I'm blessed actually that I, as a Polish person, I'm part of the EU, and we can really work together. I think why my business is also successful that because in my place, I'm also doing yoga classes, so I'm just doing a little bit different angle of things, because I just create like a little bit hub, like a wellness hub for the community Dublin 12. And so like cooperation is the key. I find it is the way forward. It's not competition. Competition's outdated. We have to cooperate, and then that's how things will evolve in a really positive, beautiful way for everyone.
Yeah, and was there much paperwork or that time, or you said you found it very easy to do?
As far as I remember, yes, you have to register your company name, and then I also I did start your own business, and I got great support for 2 years from the, like, it was called Back to Work Enterprise Allowance. So monthly I was getting certain amount of money, which kind of paid my first rent, because I had to put that in place to kind of give the services, and that was fantastic start. And because of that, I actually was able to attend for free. It was a diploma in digital marketing. It's very, very high standard. So, and it was very condensed, was like less than 6 months, and it was very intense. But I did it, I think from 15 people, only like 3 people got diploma, and I was one of them.
Wow.
So that, I said, that's fantastic. That's kind of when you're not really English speaker as such, you know, you just, and it can happen if you really want to. So I got really great support, and I think because there is such a big Polish community here as well, I think going to offices, they kind of get used to how to kind of deal with Polish people. So it was, yes.
It's great to hear, how I suppose one of the great advantages of the EU is that, I mean, I've lived in France, and I married a French woman as well, and she lives here, has the same rights I have. I can go to France if I wanted to set up a business there tomorrow. I could, and that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like it should be straightforward. I think it's, especially in Dublin, you can see the mix of culture, and I think it really kind of make our lives a little bit more interesting and kind of more fulfilling there, you know, because just people sharing things.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. But and come back actually in Poland, even my village in Poland, like there is so many improvements thanks to EU. It's unbelievable, even for local farmers, like, you know, so I couldn't praise more EU.
That's we like to hear that. I want to move on to ask you a little bit about challenges now. Do you think women entrepreneurs face more challenges than men when running their own businesses? And what particular challenges would you say you faced?
I think it depends of the sector where you work. When I was working in finances, definitely I felt there's a men lobby. that you
Right.
couldn't break it. There was that kind of ceiling that you couldn't break it. If you're a woman, and for any woman, like you had to wait for promotion very, very long time.
Okay.
And in what I'm doing now as a massage therapist, it's mainly, I think women are doing very well. There are also kind of male massage therapists, masseuses, but I feel that as a woman, like we are kind of in a more winning position, because we give that kind of warmth and welcoming, and it's just kind of easiness for the client as well. So so kind of switching kind of sectors, it's easier for me now. Definitely.
Okay, that's a very interesting perspective. That it can depend on the sector.
Absolutely,
indeed.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and finance, as you said, it doesn't surprise me to hear that it's dominated by men. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I remember even like my supervisors and manager women, like you could see how hard they really work.
Mm-hmm.
They had to really work hard for the promotion, and they were doing overtime, even though they had like kids at home and everything. It's very hard things, you know. So it's always you're showing that you're better than. So yes. I don't think it's very healthy.
Yeah, and that's one of the themes that we're going to speak about tomorrow, actually, to Janet O'Carroll, about that kind of balancing personal life and business. So we'll go into that in tomorrow's interview. That's very interesting. And this is a question now that I'm going to ask everybody that I'm interviewing. They're all going to get this same question, and I'm really interested to hear your answer. Is, what do you know now as an entrepreneur that you wish you had known when you were starting out in business?
What I know now, I when you ask me that question, I'm thinking my recent experience when actually I opened my own business, I have my own clinic, and finding good premises, that was the hardest thing. Finding the spot, it's very, as we know, the market for property is very hard, and for business, it's very important where you open it, because you can have really good business idea, but if you open in the wrong place, it won't fly. And so it's less kind of choice regarding, like, you know, the business properties, commercial properties is very hard. And also when I was the last 5 years, to be honest, I'm kind of a little bit solo person in a sense that I don't look what really others are doing. Yes, I do not compare myself. I just do whatever I think it's the right for my business, the right for me, it's the right for my family, and it's common sense as well. Definitely covered all basics. But I see the other therapists are not doing that. And so it's, for me, when I'm now looking to kind of expand and find a really good team, I can't, at the moment, I'm trying to find, I found a couple, but I'm not finding many therapists that actually follow the suit. So perhaps they're not really doing the basics. So I thought it would be easier to find therapists that I work alone. So that's kind of very hard. So kind of to employ someone, I'm a little bit struggling with that at the moment, to find the kind of high quality therapists.
Okay, and how many people have you employed at the?
I'm not employing at the moment. My idea, so what I do at the moment, I'm creating a space. So I have very big premises, and so as the yoga classes are there. So 3 yoga stretch classes teachers are using the space.
Okay.
So the classes are booming. They're fully booked. So I facilitate that, and also I have a beautiful room to rent. So it's another fantastic therapist doing acupuncture. So it's like just adding to the business as well, because I have huge menu, but I just want as well doing other therapies. So I let other people do that. And so she's using that space as well, and her business is growing. So at the moment that I create that, but I was looking into employment, and I was gladly employed, but at the moment I didn't find anyone who. So being a good therapist is one thing, but people find a little bit challenging showing themselves what they're doing, and showing their work on social media. So if you don't advertise yourself, people don't know what they're doing, and they won't book services with you. Simple as that.
Yeah, of course.
So that's challenging. Find premises, but also find the right team to work with.
Okay, so location, and the people to work with.
That's a starting.
They're the big ones. And the final thing I want to ask you is, what advice would you give to women, and particularly women who've come from another EU country to Ireland? What advice would you give them when they want to set up their own business in Ireland? I mean, this can be something that can be very, there's a certain risk. And I think we're all a bit afraid to take that chance, aren't we, sometimes? Could you maybe comment on that?
Well, the risk, what is risk for us, it's very closely related to the fear. So what I would advise is to look at the personal belief system, because especially when someone's coming from different country, we kind of feel we are not enough. You know, the language is, I see it from the people that are working at the moment as well. People who are not Irish, even though they're providing great services, they have that kind of shyness about them. And because that they're not selling themselves and they're not attracting as many clients as they could if they just believe in themselves. Because the most important, you communicate, the sentence doesn't have to be perfect. People will understand. People are very kind. You have to believe in that kindness. So I would say very close look at the belief system. So you have to really believe in yourself. Of course, that comes with the practice as well. But belief system, it's a must. So if you have this in place, you can fly. If I have some challenge, especially business challenge, I don't look at this I rather look at situation. What's the solution? Looking always for solution.
Yeah, reminds you, John Lennon, there are no.
How can I overcome it? And so sometimes the solution comes within days, sometimes within weeks, and also wanted to talk with people that you trust. And you know, be honest with the opinion as well, because you always want to have an honest opinion. That I love feedback from my clients and I love the praise, but sometimes you want the honest feedback always, because then it's just a room for improvement. What else I can improve in my business? It's you have to kind of believe in yourself. And I have a little bit attitude. If someone say to me, when I was transitioning and tried to, I had a small baby at home, and in finances, I always was asked to do overtime, didn't suit my family needs. And so when I was asking to kind of for work-life balance, I didn't get that. And so even if you want to change the career slightly, go different direction, the agent is saying, it's not possible. It's not possible. And so my attitude is like, I'll show you.
I love that attitude. And I love what you said earlier about solution.
Everything is possible. Absolutely, everything is possible. It's about how it comes to our attitude. It's not about where you're born, the country. It's about attitude. If you're willing to work with people, if you believe that there's lots of kindness and help out there, and believe in yourself, you really spread your wings and you'll go far.
Yeah, and I'm reminded. My mother often quotes John Lennon. There are no problems, only solutions. And you kind of paraphrased it there. It's a great attitude to have. And listen, I want to really say thank you for joining us. One of the big aims of this series is to maybe encourage and inspire more women who might be considering setting up their own businesses, becoming entrepreneurs, to maybe take that leap. And I think your story and your attitude is just been fantastic. And I mean, I think a lot of women, having listened to you today, will get a lot of inspiration from your story, and just the way you approach it is superb. So thank you so much for joining me today. And just before I go, I just want to say a thank you to my colleague and your compatriot, Maria Carolyn, who helped set this up today. And Maria is now helping us out in Europe Direct in Blanchardstown, which is great. So thank you very much for that, Angelika.
She's a lovely lady, and it was an absolute pleasure and to share my thoughts, and hopefully that will help the listeners as well.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.